Okay, so as I was doing all this research, I kept coming across the name Cher Ami. Cher Ami. And it turns out Cher Ami was a pigeon, for starters, and one of the most famous pigeons of all time. And he was known for being a war hero. Now grab that tissue box, baby, because you are about to cry your eyes out. So in 1918, Cher Ami was born into this world. Once he reached 10 weeks, he was sent out to do a round of wartime communication messages, just like all the other pigeons before him. But it wasn't business as usual, because by 1918, the Germans had figured out that the pigeons were a super successful tactic for the US Army. So they started demanding soldiers shoot down any pigeons they saw, one by one. And Cher Ami's fellow pigeon soldiers were shot dead all around him. He's flying, he's going like, no. Now at this point, he had already completed 11 successful missions. And Cher Ami was stationed with the 77th Division, known as the Lost Battalion. And on October 4th, 1918, this battalion was in danger. They were as good as dead. This is because these American soldiers were being bombed so badly behind German lines, they were cut off from the rest of the American troops. So no one could get behind enemy lines to help them escape. And on top of this, they were totally out of range of radio signals. So one of the soldiers that was trapped in this bombing was American Major Charles Whittlesey. In the midst of gunshots and explosions, he and the other soldiers turned to the only hope they have to survive: the carrier pigeons. So the soldiers each grabbed a carrier pigeon, They wrote a message in a hurry. They're like, please help us, ASAP, thank you. And then they tied it to the pigeon's leg. And then they threw the pigeons in the air so they could fly away and get the message home. But one by one, the soldiers watched their pigeons getting shot and killed. Oh God, there goes my message. I asked for baked goods. Finally, they grabbed the last one, the prodigal pigeon, Cher Ami. Now the general managed to write a note asking for help and attach it to his leg. He then throws Cher Ami into the sky, and everyone's just watching, praying that he would not get shot down, okay? And right away, Cher Ami is dodging bullets left and right, and it's working. He's getting away, and they're like, oh my God. Then they finally had been saved. Cher Ami, Cher Ami. And they're all excited, right? Woo! But then, right in front of their eyes, Cher Ami was shot straight through the chest. And then poor Cher Ami just fell straight to the ground. The soldiers were obviously devastated. And essentially they saw that as a sign they were going to die, right? Then they were about to turn away, kind of give up, when all of a sudden Cher Ami sits up. I know this is very dramatic, but this is real. Cher Ami sits up. And with a bullet wound bleeding from his chest, he still manages to get up and fly away with that message tied around his leg. I know, it's incredible. And Cher Ami ends up flying 25 miles in less than half an hour, which is fast, even when Cher Ami wasn't shot. He got the messages to base, and they were able to save 194 lives in the Lost Battalion, all thanks to him. So the pigeon medics, or veterinarians, whatever they were called, they go to work trying to save little Cher Ami's life. They're clear, or sewing him up or something. And thankfully, Cher Ami survived. But sadly, he lost his right leg and was permanently blinded. But he lived. Lieutenant Dan, you ain't got no legs. Cher Ami was given an award to honor his bravery on the battlefield. Oh yeah. During the ceremony, General John Pershing said, quote, "There isn't anything the United States can do too much for this bird," end quote. Cher Ami returned to the U.S. where he lived. It's not funny, it's just, I forgot we were talking about pigeon. But Cher Ami had returned to live in the United States where he lived until he died on January 13th, 1919 from his war wounds. Okay, but get this, his body was preserved. Oh yes, and it was put in the Smithsonian in 1921. Yeah, you can go see him with his missing leg. Look, if you go, I need you to send me a picture. All right, I need to see this. I've never been. Maybe I should go road trip, maybe. All in all, over 150,000 pigeons served in World War I and World War II. And truly, we have like no idea how many lives they saved. I love the pigeons. They're so precious. And in their honor, President Woodrow Wilson created National Pigeon Day on June 13th. Aw, I know. I'm gonna celebrate this year. I don't really know. Am I supposed to dress up for National Pigeon Day? How do we celebrate? Maybe we steal a hot dog from an old lady or like poop on a car? I'm not sure. I'll get back to you.